Jordy, what does it feel like when a person is losing his mind?
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory.
Yo.
Jeff and I are veteran Trekkies, and Dory is a newly minted Trekkie, and we are taking her on her first journey through Star Trek: The Next Generation. Today we're discussing the Season 7 episode Masks. Original air date is February 19th, 1994. And as always, we'll take it to Dory for the recap.
Okay, so we start off. Troy is in a classroom. She's encouraging this child, Eric, to be confident in his shitty bird sculpture.
Yeah.
She's like, birds can have different size
come
wings.
on. He's like 8.
And? I don't
How
think
good
it
were
matters.
your bird sculptures when you were 8?
Here's the thing. I'm the wrong person to ask for that because I actually used to be really good at that shit. But also at the same time, not birds because I fucking hate birds. So there was no bird sculptures for me.
Exactly.
But other animals, I was great at it.
Mm-hmm.
So Data is also in the sculpture class, and he is made a sculpture of this device, but it's like to scale.
Mm-hmm.
And Troy's like, hey Data, you've really nailed realism, maybe consider trying something a little more abstract. And she's like, here, new blob of clay, make music.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that is my nightmare. Make music.
Yeah.
Out of, like, again, I get Data for this to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And Data's also was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then she says, think of the effects that sound have on people, that sounds have on people, the images that music brings to your mind, and then give it a form. And then Data speed sculpts a treble clef. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I was like, he nailed it. And then she's like, it's a start. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay.
Right, it is a start.
I've never understood Data more than in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, the first half of this episode. Just this part of the episode. Oh, okay. So I wrote in my notes when Data shows her the treble clef, Troy says that it's a start. Mm-hmm. And then I said, I don't understand what she wants from him. I feel like this is very subjective. Let him make what he wants. Mm-hmm. Okay, but then Data gets called to the bridge. And the Enterprise has encountered a rogue comet in Sector 1156. It's not native to this region of space. Where did it come from? Mm-hmm. There's no previous record of this object on any Federation charts. Based on its present trajectory, the comet appears to have originated in the D'Arcy system. It's not that important. It's like 2 sectors away, and the comet has been en route for 87 million years. So Picard asks Data to begin a full sensor analysis and log the findings with the Federation Astrophysical Survey. Data begins the analysis, and then the oh God, what the fuck did I write? Oh, I wrote bright. I was like, why does it look like I wrote tonight? I wrote bright. Bright light like shines onto the bridge, and this is a distortion within the comet's inner core. So Data thinks they experienced an intense sensor echo. So then they adjust shit accordingly. I don't know. There's a lot of tech stuff babble in this. And okay, so they're gonna do a scan. It'll be completed in 39 hours. So Dr. C and Troy stop at Troy's quarters for her bag for Worf's Mokbara class, and Dr. C is like, we're gonna learn the Mokbara throwing techniques today. And she notices there is a sculpture on Troy's table, and it's like 3 cubes stacked on top of each other with sort of like this apple shape at the top. Mm-hmm. And then there's marking on the side. But I also exclusively, after this, referred to this sculpture as the Apple Store
All right, then.
in my notes. I promise you there's a good reason. So, okay, so the sculpture, it has these cubes, and it looked like there's an apple shape on the top, right? In New York, the like big Apple Store is underground, but the entrance to the Apple Store is a giant cube. So I'm like, a cube with an apple on top? That's the Apple Store.
How cultured of you, Dory.
I don't have Apple products, so I've never actually been into this Apple Store, but I have seen the cube and been like, okay.
I've
seen the Apple Cube.
I've seen it. I've seen the Apple Cube. Okay, so Dr. C is like, hey, maybe Riker left it for you, but Troy's like, yeah, no, this isn't really his style. And Dr. C is like, oh, secret admirer? But again, I love Dr. C, but these are wild theories because I don't think it's cute if someone like leaving a strange sculpture in your quarters. That means someone went into your place like without permission. That's really bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I was gonna say the same thing, that it's like they seem way less disturbed than they should be that someone came into Troy's quarters and left something.
Yeah. It's like, this is a very chill response to a kind of a horrifying
I actually pointed that out in my
thing.
notes. I was like, wait, why is it that they're treating this as if this is like cute and like a little bit of a mystery when it's like somebody broke into your home?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very weird.
Yeah. But then they are over it very quickly and they leave, and then the apple part glows and the symbol symbol appears on the apple. Credits. Okay, so then Data and Troy are back in the classroom, and Data has made a mask with this symbol on the forehead of the mask. And Troy asks Data if he knows anything about the sculpture in her quarters, because the symbol on the mask is similar to the symbols on the sculpture. But then Eric is like, counselor, something's wrong with my computer. So everyone takes a look, and these symbols are floating around on the computer screen. So also same issue is happening in, I think, engineering, where these like symbols are just floating around. So alien information has been downloaded into the computer, the Enterprise computer, from that beam. So they think these symbols are actually from the comet that entered the computer system. During the sensor echo, whatever. Data recognizes the symbols though, but he doesn't know how he knows them. He's just like, I know what they are.
Yeah.
And so Data says that they are its boundary, border, road, companion, message, messenger. And then this image that looks like Data's mask pops up, and Data's like, that's death. Gasp. So the Enterprise has been firing a beam into the comet to get to the core. Oh, no, they start doing this now. Sorry, I messed up my order. Okay, so they start to fire a beam to get to the core of the comet, and then the comet kind of dissolves away, and then there's a whole ass structure within the comet, and it's huge.
I'm actually a little weirded out by that one because I feel like all of the shots of the ship flying next to the comet, the ship is like a roughly comparable size.
It looks similar size,
and then this thing
right?
is like 8 times the size of the ship, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I thought the exact same thing.
That must just be like an issue
at first
with
was confused
with the way that they were doing the effect, and like I realized they have redone the effect, but I also know that when they redid the effects for the remastered version, they were trying to do things as close to the original as possible.
Yeah, I think what it's supposed to be is that like just like if you're shooting this with a camera, like the comet is closer to you and the Enterprise is further away. So that's why, like, it's just perspective that's making it look
thought
bigger.
It might be that too, but we see the ship like go right alongside the comet and like following it, and it's like I don't know, like it could just be a perspective thing. Either way, what I think happened in the end is that the effects department fucked up.
Yeah. I noticed in this episode that some of the editing seemed weird to me.
It is, yeah. Well, okay,
it felt like it felt like they either edited it weird or there was a lack of coverage of shots. Like, it felt like at certain times, like, they didn't get the reverse shot or they didn't get the wide shot or something, and they just had to use what they they just had to use the shot.
So what actually was happening is the episode was a little bit rushed. Like, as an example, Brent Spiner actually had a lot of trouble playing these multiple roles that he was playing because he was given the script like the day after shooting the previous episode, and they had to shoot that day. So, like, there wasn't really any time in between doing the two of them, so they were a little rushed on that. They had to build an entirely new set for it, which is the set that we get to towards the end of the episode, the temple. There was a lot going on for shooting this episode, and reportedly the director and half the writing team basically didn't know what was going on. They were like, I don't know, we read the script and we just don't get it. The director didn't get it.
Well, okay. I was gonna save this for later, but here's my short review of this episode. It's fucking stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like this episode. I'd never really like. This episode was always a skip for me, but I never had any like strong emotions about it. But like rewatching it, I'm like, this episode's fucking dumb. Like I don't like this. Like it's such a nothing burger.
I actually like it because it's fucking dumb, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. This was just like Brent Spiner was like, I want to do some character work.
It's literally
like,
that.
Okay,
because what impresses me so much about it is that he was handed the script and it was just like, go nuts. Like, he wasn't given direction on how to play a particular character. They were just like, here, figure it out. And he was like, okay, how long do I have? Like a couple of weeks? We're shooting today. Oh.
Okay.
All right then. Like, think of this. You are a professional actor. You are handed a script. The script doesn't say, play this character. Here's a little bit of a rundown of them. It's play these 4 characters in one episode.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Luckily, Brent's up to the task.
Well,
but...
yes. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll get into that later.
I didn't have an issue with his acting in this episode, but like this episode was like this episode is empty.
Yes, it is. And well, I actually, there is a good reason for it being empty. I don't mean like a good reason in terms of like, oh, they had an excuse. I mean, there is a good explanation for why it's empty, and I agree with the explanation. And we'll get into that later. Let's let Dory continue.
Yeah.
Okay. So the structure is like even older than the comet. And it was possibly like just floating around in space, and then it became covered by the comet for being exposed to gases or whatever for so long. So the structure is responsible for the system anomalies. The structure is using the Enterprise sensor beam as a what did I write? Carrier wave. Nailed it. Yes, nice. I think. Okay. To transmit information to the computers and replicators. So Data believes the structure is an information archive, and he seems to have an intuitive understanding of its function. So I just wrote, when someone puts on Data's mask, do they get like a montage of like the history of this? They did not. None of that. That did not happen. So Data requests that they run a level 1 diagnostic of his positronic net to determine if he has a connection to the structure. So Picard, he's collected like all these artifacts that has popped up around the ship. And Riker, he's collected this in his ready room. And so Riker comes in and he's like, yep, confirmed that there was a problem, but like it's contained for now. But these like symbols are still appearing on the computer. So then Riker says, this is quite a collection you've assembled. I've seen these are all over the ship. They all look the same, primitive and non-functional. Then Picard says, ceremonial and deceptively primitive. Only an advanced technological society could have built that object out there. these artifacts played a ritualistic role in that society, I think. And then Riker says, do you think Data could be right? Could we have stumbled across some sort of alien library? And Picard says, oh yes, it's possible. And if so, it's a find of the most enormous significance. Sorry, my writing is ass right now. I'm trying hard
It's
to
okay.
read.
To be fair, that line clearly is not reflected by the episode's actual
Yeah.
stature. So yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
But
it's just funny because like I wanted an excuse to bring this up, but like so many real life fucking archaeologists, they look at a thing and then like they're like, I guess for prayer. Like there's so much shit that are designated like prayer objects or like ritualistic objects or whatever that it's like
yeah.
they just didn't know what the fuck it was and they're like, I guess prayer.
Wait, that flat piece of stone?
Yeah.
That's where people had rituals.
Yeah, like
That's where they sacrificed people. What are you talking about,
Yeah.
bro?
There was this one case I remember where they were examining like a primitive home. I don't remember what era of history or prehistory, but they're examining a primitive home and they noticed that the knives were attached to the ceiling. So they're like, oh, why'd they do that? Like, it's
a
like,
trap?
yeah, it's like,
Sorry.
oh, they must have thought that like keeping them higher would like imbue them with whatever, like all this bullshit, right? And one woman walked in there and was like, it's to keep it out of the reach of the kids.
Amazing.
That's why their knives are on the ceiling.
Amazing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Yeah. So there's a lot of shit like that. Like there was this one museum that like had these objects from like ancient Rome or whatever, and they're like, we have no idea, or maybe ancient Greece, I forget, but they're like, we have no idea what the fuck this is. And like there was like some old granny who like came to the museum and it's like, oh, that's like a thing for knitting or something. And they were like,
oh, cute.
yeah. And the museum was like invited her in and it's like, oh, explain more and stuff. And like they figured out what it was.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so meep. Riker recognizes the symbol on the top of the Apple store, and Picard thinks it may be
forgot you were
important.
calling
Maybe
it that.
yeah. Maybe this is like some kind of a symbol of a compass or something or other.
Mm-hmm.
And Riker points out that the words Data recognized on the computer were arranged to match the different lines of the symbol. Mm-hmm. So then Picard says, well, perhaps the artifacts that all have this compass symbol belong to the same theme, movement. Finding a direction, traveling a path, crossing a boundary. Mm-hmm. And then Riker says, and death, one of the symbols was death. And then Picard says, well, the ultimate boundary.
Yeah.
One might say the final frontier.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, I only just realized that the connection between the Troy art lesson and this episode being like that all this shit is like abstract and symbolic.
Oh. Maggie, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was okay.
Well, Maggie, if it makes you feel better, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked.
That didn't occur to me for 1 second.
Yeah. To be honest, like I guess I was distracted by being so pissed off that they did not figure out the fucking main symbolism of this until like way late in the episode when it's the most obvious shit in the world.
Oh yeah.
And it like
yeah.
And like I don't know because maybe like because I've seen this episode before and I know where it goes, but I'm just like I'm yelling at the screen, it's the sun and moon, fuckos. It's the sun and moon. And I know that's a spoiler, like technically I guess, like because we haven't gotten there yet, but oh my god, it was so frustrating. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, all good. So yeah, Picard also points out this other symbol he keeps seeing. Which to me, the symbol was like a U shape, but the one that he initially points out, it's got these lines in it. So it kind of looks like, you know, when you take a mold of your teeth, but like kind of like a primitive version where it's not like there's like an outline, but not like super detailed of each individual teeth. It's just sort of like lines.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yes, the denture symbol. So then Jordy starts to run a test on Data, but everything is normal until Data says that he feels an impulse. But he doesn't know what the impulse is for. He just feels an impulse. Mm-hmm. And so then Data goes, Jordy, what does it feel like when a person is losing his mind? And then Jordy goes, Data, come on, you're scaring me. Now what's going on? And then Data says, I do not know. I am different. And then Jordy says, well, you're going to be all right. You're with me, okay? And then Data goes, okay. And I was like, I love it. That's so cute.
Yeah, this was one of the scenes where it was very obvious to me that it's like, they stuck on the one shot too long, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
this is a weird choice. Like either they were trying to do like one long shot like on purpose, and they just didn't shoot it the best. But to me, it felt like, oh, they didn't get the reverse shot. Like they didn't get enough coverage of this scene.
Yeah.
So they're like they're stuck using just this one shot.
Fair. So Jordy disconnects Data from the computer, and then there's like this weird little noise, and then Jordy checks Data's head, and because it's the panel is still open, and I wrote, it looks like a waffle is forming over Data's hair, his circuits.
Yeah, that was a very strange effect. Like I know what they were, I know what they wanted to do with it, but it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it looked like a gross waffle forming, and Data then turns around with this super terrifying look on his face, with the symbol, the compass one. So it's basically a circle with like two short lines going from like north, south, east, west. This is for us. I don't know like if it symbolizes north, south, east, west in this. This is just so if people were trying to picture it. And then he goes, Masaka is waking, and this voice he does is horrible. It is so strange. I hate it.
It's like Masaka is waking.
Yeah, I did not care for that. Then we cut to Data now sitting on the warp core.
Yeah.
Like a fucking, honestly, you know what this gave me when he was in this character? He gave me Q derogatory.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely supposed to be like he's supposed to be some sort of like trickster thing. Yeah. Trickster god or whatever.
I hated
like a Loki
I
kind
hated
of deal.
this character.
I also hate this character.
I'm not going to get into it yet, but I do want to point something out about these characters that he plays, and it ends up being a fatal flaw of the episode. We get a lot of caricature out of them, but we don't actually get to know any of them. So that means you can only judge them on like a surface level, and when they're like really fucking extra like this one, there's a lot of reasons to not like them.
Oh, Jeff, quick technical question. The scene where like Jordy and Data are doing the diagnostic.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out the lens because it's not a split lens, but it's like it's focused in the middle, and then around the edge is like unfocused, which I don't think I've seen before.
So what they're doing is they're using something called a split diopter, and so
but usually it's like down the middle instead of around the edge, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, usually, but sometimes it's just the lighting works in such a way that you can't really tell.
No, because because it's like the focus is the center, and then there's a border of unfocus around like the whole thing.
Yeah, well, split diopters aren't always like a piece of glass in the middle. Like they can be lots of different shapes.
Okay.
It just means that there's something that's helping the lens focus in two places at the same time, which it is still doing.
Because I've never seen it like, or at least I've never noticed it. The split focus being done that way.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm so used to it being like it's there's a different focal length on the right side versus the left side.
Let me take a look at the shot again just to remind myself, because I watched it like yesterday.
Yeah, because when Jordy comes around to walk to Data, you can see that he goes out of focus when he's at the edge of the screen.
Yeah. Okay, give me a sec.
but comes back into focus when he's towards the center.
Yeah, okay. So Maggie,
Yeah.
what's going on? The way that the diopter is working is you actually can't see the split. Because it's positioned really, really well.
Okay.
The split is on an angle. It actually the way that
I
the
hadn't
scene
considered that.
yeah, so the scene is the way that it's constructed is that from if you have like a screenshot of it or something like that, if you look down from like where Data's chest hits the bottom of the frame in the middle, then the diopter doesn't, or the diopter split doesn't go straight up from there. It actually goes to the left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so because of the way that it's lit, I guess, you can't actually see the split, which is cool. That does happen sometimes, and I've managed to achieve that once or twice. It's not very common, but under like very controlled lighting situations like this, it's easier. The nice thing about enterprise lighting is that it's all like very even and uniform, so you can partially get away with it. But yeah, because the in the end the diopter. So for anybody who's now not watched, or sorry, not watched, who doesn't know anything about cinematography, a split diopter is a piece of glass that's like a filter that goes on the front of the lens, and there's only glass on one side of it. So that glass is focusing on like somewhere either usually really close. And you're focusing the rest of the lens somewhere further away. And that way you can have your focus set on two places at the same time, so you can have a character who's really close to you and a character who's really far from you. The thing about this is that as you rotate it, the extremities of the lens or of the frame end up looking really out of focus on the glass filter diopter side of it. So in that case, that's Data's side here, Maggie, and it's why Data's face is in focus just fine, but the like even just the back of his head is completely out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because of how like that's just the shape of the glass. So the glass is where they're focusing is somewhere more towards the middle of the glass, and the rest of the glass is just all over the fucking place. So that's why that looks weird.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm not used to it being like, because when Geordi comes around, he's going out of focus on the opposite side of the frame as where behind Data's head is out of focus, and I'm just not used to seeing that with a split lens.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Because I'm used to like all like one focal length on one side and one focal length on the other side.
Yeah, and in this case, it's on a weird angle.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, that was camera corner.
Yeah, so Data's sitting on the warp core. I hate it. Picard comes in, not amused. So Data is now the character of E-Hat. And it's important that Picard knows that Misaka is waking. And E-Hat says that Data is gone. And Picard calls Troy to engineering, and Picard asks if there's any other like E-Hat, and he speed walks in a really kind of strange way over to the main panel in engineering, and then he kind of lies down on his side, and very weird, and tells Picard there are no others like me.
Yeah.
And I just wrote, this is getting old really fast.
Yeah.
We've literally met this character 3 seconds ago and I'm ready over it.
Yeah.
So Picard would like to speak with Misaka, but E-Hat warns against it. This is all so dumb. So then Data / E-Hat goes, do you understand pain, death? That is all you need to know of Misaka. It is what she is. And E-Hat tells Picard to leave this place before she finds him, but JK, too late. She found him because Troy walks in engineering, and she immediately kind of does like not a double take per se on Data, but she's like, what? And then he addresses her as Misaka and then bows down to her, And he looks down, and I noticed this immediately, and I followed this for the rest of the episode. So he kind of looks down, but the camera only shows like doesn't show the bottom sort of, but I think it's like shoulder above, like shoulders and up. And when he was Ehat, he had a brown stone on his chest.
Oh yeah,
that had sort of this like wing in clouds. And then when he's down on his knees in front of Troy, he like puts his head down, looks back up, his voice has changed, and now there's a white stone in his chest with this, maybe an eye, I don't know.
Yeah, they do that to show
Troy
which character's in charge.
yeah.
Yeah. And then he tells Troy, every part of me is yours. Like, boy. So Geordi thinks that the archive is using data to create different people within its culture, much in the same way it used the replicators to create the artifacts. And as a result, Data's real personality has been completely buried. So Troy says, in a sense, Data has the android equivalent of multiple personalities. And then Geordi says the archive hasn't stopped yet. Data's positronic net is still being transformed. There's no telling how many more personalities may emerge. So Picard asks
for the record,
Geordi to keep...
everybody, this episode came out in 1994, which is why it's multiple personality disorder, because that was all the rage then.
Yeah. And also, they never explain why he mistook Troy for Masaka.
Oh, because they needed a way to segue into the commercial. I'm not kidding. That's very clearly what it is, and that's why they moved on from the point immediately.
No, I I know. I believe you. I didn't think you were joking. It's just like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Picard asks Geordi to keep working on the archive, see if there's a way to access it. And so Picard goes to visit Data in his quarters, and all I could think about for a good chunk of this episode is what's going on with Spot during all this.
Yeah.
Who's with Spot? What's Spot up to?
Spot only exists when the script needs him to.
Yeah.
Like
Alexander.
I need Spot to exist all the time.
Yep.
Oh, Alexander too. Oh, those
They're
poor.
they're hanging out together.
There you
I
go.
hope so. Yeah, Worf has taken care of Spot before, so Spot's in Worf's quarters and Alexander's playing with them.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah, that's what's going
Spot
on.
is watching Alexander.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
How silly of me. So Picard asks to speak. Oh, so Data is not Ehat right now, but he asks to speak with Ehat, and Data then like sort of hunches over. He's sitting on the floor, by the way, and then like he becomes Ehat, who then like leans on the floor / wall, and I hate it. And we learn that Ehat doesn't like Misaka. And he says, "You won't catch me humiliating myself for a woman, even if she were a queen." I hate this guy.
I love that. Yeah.
So we learn we learn that Misaka is a nap girl, which at the time I didn't get what they meant, but like I get it now.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, she likes to sleep. I'm like, don't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like naps, but the way that he talked about it, I was like, oh, so she's a nap girl.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it says only Corgano can stop her now, but he's not here. I'm like, oh boy, this definitely sounds shitty that only a man can stop this, of course, crazy woman. So then Data shudders, and then the stone symbol changes, and now he's a different person who is just scared. And so we learned that the archive activated some sort of tractor beam that they were not able to disengage, and there's no damage on the ship to the reported, but there is an emergency intent forward. I was like, oh, interesting. I wasn't sure if we were going to see it. We do see it. So there's this emergency pulse coming from the tractor beam. It's overriding the control system. So Data grabs Picard's arm when he tries to leave. Because, they're telling Picard all this while he's still with Data. So Data grabs Picard's arm when he tries to get up. And it gives him, like, this crazy pain. And he Picard like is like, you have like asks him to let go, and then he does, and then he like leans back and turns it back into Ehot, and Ehot's like, by the way, Misaka is awake. So I'm like, okay, no one. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So the lights are out in most of the Enterprise right now, and Worf enters 10 forward, and the emergency is that it's been new interior decorator. No, I'm kidding. There's like palm tree branches and like these giant stone cubes. There is just there's a really big Apple store in 10 forward. So Picard then is like, oh, the Apple store is Misaka. And then he finds this small, like the U-shaped symbol that I mentioned earlier that I thought was the symbol for dentures.
Yeah.
That I designated rather as a symbol for dentures. And she's like, oh, it's at the back of the Apple store. That sentence in of itself, without the context of what these nicknames are,
yeah,
the symbol for dentures was found at the back of the Apple store. Sounds insane.
Yeah.
And so, the symbol, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Geordi's like, these artifacts weren't beamed here from the archives. The matter is just here from 10 forward, and it's been transformed. And Picard's like, this is living plants. How is that possible? And Geordi's like, I don't really know, but the ship is being transformed now. So Worf says that there have been receiving reports from all over the ship that this stuff is being like popping up all over the place. And part of Deck 12 is now an aqueduct. So Troy asks, like, what are we being transformed into? And I wrote Rainforest Cafe. I wrote this
You're not.
This is starting to look like a Rainforest Cafe.
You're not exactly wrong.
I'm not. But I also then was like, haha. I was like, I assume they're just trying to transform it into like what their planet looked like, or what like Misaka's domain is. I feel like that wasn't so much of a reach. Mm-hmm. That feels like what I don't know. I don't know why that was a mystery for the crew.
Yeah.
But Picard concludes, okay, we have to destroy the archive. But Worf is like, actually, I don't know that we can. Weapons system is inoperable at the moment. But they could try to refigure a photon torpedo for manual launch. And Picard's like, make it so. So Picard is bummed that they're still in 10 forward, and he's kind of like bummed that like this is actually kind of cool and that we don't really have enough time to like really learn about this shit, because that's actually really interesting. This like ancient civilization is doing all this stuff. But yeah, oh no, too bad. So sad. This episode sucks. So Geordi and Worf are in engineering, and Worf is like, oh yeah, this power system's not functioning, this thing, and then there's a thing on the floor. I just was assuming that was the photon torpedo, but I don't know what a photon torpedo looks like.
That is
and I was like, that is what it is. Yep. Okay, because I was like, that's not a piece of furniture that was in the room previously. So Geordi goes and is like trying to figure out what the problem was, and he opens this panel and it's full of snakes.
Yeah.
Which I did not care for.
Yeah.
But with Maggie's warning, I did note it when I kept my eye on the time. So I kept my sweater kind of blocking part of the screen. Like I covered my eyes like partially.
Yeah, because I was watching the episode and I saw that they had that like snake jump scare, and I'm like, oh, I better warn Dory.
Yeah, I don't like snakes. Snakes and birds in this episode, and I hate both.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like, okay, this might be time to leave. So, but then Geordi and Worf go to an exit, but then there's like a big flash of fire. And so they have to be beamed out of engineering. So now we're on the bridge. The bridge has got like its own little environment brewing. And they're like, we got to stay here because the observation lounge is turned into a swamp, as you know, it does. And so Riker, Picard, Worf, Troy, Dr. C, and Geordi are all on the bridge, and they're discussing. And I love that it's like the whole group on the bridge. Love it. But I wish it was for better reasons, and I wish Data was there. So Geordi says the archive is now taking over at least 20% of the ship. They've lost main propulsion, weapons systems, but they do have communications, and like life support doesn't seem to be affected. Which I did like, that no one was trying to fucking kill anyone this episode.
Yeah.
That was kind of a nice thing for once. So Dr. C says apparently the archive can reorder and transform molecular structure, including DNA, into anything it wants. And then Picard says, so it's using our ship, our alloys, our DNA to create elements of its own culture. Then Troy says, but why is this happening? What does the archive hope to accomplish? And then Picard says, well, whatever the intent that lies behind its process, I'm not going to permit this ship to be turned into an alien city. Because this alien city... I was going to make a really dumb joke. I'm not going to.
All right.
This city wasn't built on rock and roll. That was very bad. Okay. Anyway, so the beam is going, shit is happening. Okay, but Geordi is able to access the archive eventually, and if he can find the transformation program, then he can maybe be able to control it. And Picard's like, great, let's do it. But I think the solution lies with Misaka, and he needs to talk to her. So Picard goes to see Data, who is now an old man. Not literally, just the personality old man.
Yeah.
And also, this old man is Misaka's dad. And they're like, yeah, only Corgano can talk to her, but he's not there. But then, unfortunately, Ehat makes an appearance. And I'm like, ugh, fucking sucks. But Data says, legend has it she chopped him up and used his bones to make the world. Oh, no, that's about his dad. Never mind. That's about her dad.
Yeah.
Data, like Ehat as Data, whatever, about her dad, because then she's like, oh, what was going on with the dad? So legend has it she chopped him up, her dad, and used his bones to make the world. And you wonder why he doesn't like to talk about her. Oh, yeah, because Picard was trying to talk to him about her, and he wasn't giving any answers, and that's why Ehat came back. Picard asks how he can find Cargano, but he's like, I don't really want to help because I don't really want to end up as a sacrifice to her. But Picard's like, I'll do it. But Picard must build Misaka's temple to get her attention. So Picard's like, I need a sign to, he needs a sign to like summon the temple or whatever. He gets the sign. It takes between Ehat and the old guy, aka her dad. They get the symbol, and then
he saw the sign and it opened up his mind.
Exactly, I couldn't have said it better. And then from there, once he's got the sign, then he turns back into scared person, and they have a shot that I timed. That it's just Data looking up at the like camera from like this.
Yeah, that's
like
the
high
zoom
angle
out one, right?
10 seconds and 38 milliseconds.
Yeah, that is an extremely strange shot.
Yeah.
It that's so long. Worf could have reacted twice in that. Because like Worf is notorious just like to be so slow at making any kind of like facial like reactions to stuff. Yeah. Okay, so now there's like more stuff that's been transported to the transformed on the bridge. But Geordi thinks he's found the archive's transformation program. Picard is like, asks if it'll like accept the symbol for Misaka's temple. they're like, we're hoping for the best. So Worf, Picard, and Troy are in the hall of the Enterprise. Geordi puts in the symbol. Hall turns into the temple. It's all like kind of marbly, I think, maybe walls, floors. There's a staircase to like a throne. And Picard notices that the sun symbol, and then he also notices the denture symbol.
Yeah.
Is paired together multiple times in this temple, especially on the platform.
Yeah.
And so then I wrote, so he thinks teeth is chasing sun. And then the symbol the dentures could symbolize Gargano. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, this could be a cultural balance thing where there's like a counter to the queen. And then he's like, look for that symbol and other stuff. And at this point, I did kind of be like, I was like, wait, could that be like crescent moon?
Yeah.
I did kind of click in at this point, but I wasn't convinced. I just was like, well, they're talking about sun, can't like thing with like like crescent moon make sense. But I was like, whatever, I'll find out.
Yeah,
I didn't commit very much to that idea.
Yeah, what annoys me a lot is that like Picard's thing is archaeology, and like that's on display in this episode too. Mm-hmm. And it took him that long to figure out the most basic fucking symbolism, like the symbolism that is like extremely common throughout many, many different cultures of the sun and the moon, and of them like playing off each other. Like that's just such a fucking like, that would be my first interpretation. It's like, oh, it's the sun and the moon. Because that's like one of the most basic like cultural symbolisms.
I can't look at the episode objectively just because it's so ingrained in me from seeing it when I was younger, unfortunately. So I don't know if I would confidently say that. However, knowing a little bit about history here and doing some research into it, I would like to point out something that is unique in this portrayal here. The sun being like a malevolent god that people fear is definitely not something that comes up in Earth cultures.
Yeah, that aspect is pretty unique. To me, and like when I think about it, it makes sense because like imagine you lived somewhere that was like in the desert, right?
Yeah.
It's like the sun is an oppressive thing.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Yeah, no, I understand. But so nighttime is oppressive in the desert too because suddenly the temperature drops like terribly.
Yeah. But like that... Like... that might not seem like as dangerous as the relief. Like we don't... Like we're making a lot of inferences. Like we don't know a lot about this culture.
That's true, which I do want to get into a little later, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's let Dory finish.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch. We're almost done. Okay. Data then opens his eyes back in his quarters. Nothing's on his forehead. And he goes and picks up the mask that he made at the beginning of the episode. And he puts it on, goes to leave his quarters, and he knocks out his guards. So then Troy and Worf end up finding a stone where the sun is small. I wrote the sun is small and the teeth are big. They're like, oh, okay, so like only one can be in charge at a time. And this is a scenario where like, Gargano was maybe in charge and she was not. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So he's like, we need to find Gargano in the archive, bring him here to take over for the queen because everyone hates her, but everyone is chill with him. I'm like, classic. So then Data as Misaka just appears on the throne, and Geordi is able to find Gargano's symbol, and they activate it. And Troy's like, we don't really know what we're doing. We could like fully summon a temple, but it's like we don't have time for that to figure that out. And so then a mask appears, a silver mask.
Yeah. The stakes immediately get nullified.
Yeah. So Picard is like, yeah, maybe Oh, Picard says, we could be going about this all the wrong way. This is a very real ritualistic culture based on symbol and myth. Perhaps we should try to confront them on those terms. If I could somehow incorporate myself in their ritual, then perhaps Misaka would listen to me. And so then I just was like, you're just going to put on the mask and either you're going to turn into Corgano or you're going to pretend to be. And then a Riker immediately was like, so you're going to pretend to be Corgano? And I'm like, great, we're all on the same page. Let's fucking go. So Picard's like, I might not know their customs, but I've studied enough stuff that I might be able to improv my way through this situation. So let's fucking go. Yeah. So he puts on the silver mask and he goes to confront Data / Misaka in the temple. And Misaka's like, I thought I got away from you, but you can't catch me now. But Picard is like, you like the chase. Don't you miss being the hunter rather than the prey? And Misaka's like, yeah, you're right. Good night.
Yeah.
And so she's defeated by a monologue / light flirting with Picard.
Yeah.
I'm like, same, I guess. But like, so that's it. So then Geordi is able to disable the alien transformation program. Starfleet is sending an archaeological team to study the archive. And Data's mask stayed on the Enterprise because he made it. Mm-hmm. So, Data actually suspects that he maybe had like thousands of personalities inside him. But Picard says, well, Data, you never may become fully human, but you've had an experience that transcends the human condition. You've been an entire civilization. And then it ends.
Yep.
I did not like this episode.
Yeah. Also, not the first time he's been a whole civilization, because he has the memory from those colonists.
Oh, yeah. I do think the end of everyone was like, oh, she's so evil and she's so dangerous and she's this. And then Picard's like, you tired?
Yeah. Hey,
you want a nap, girl?
Nap. Yeah.
Like, have a nap. I hear you're a nap girl. Yeah. And she's like, say less. I'm here for it. I'm like, good night. What? I was like, that's so dumb. This was such an anticlimactic end.
Yeah.
It's just like, you did it. You said, hey.
We did it, Joe.
So,
yeah.
Here's what I want to get into about this episode and why the episode ends up falling flat. It's not that writing at the end being anticlimactic, because Star Trek has been anticlimactic before and that didn't...
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that was just kind of par of the course. This episode is hugely disappointing, but not for any reason that other episodes are, where it's like, oh, we have all of this potential that we're exploring. The episode explores nothing about its mythology. It's an extremely vapid adventure. There's no point in the fucking archive that they've come across. What is it doing? Like, just what is the point in what it is doing? What is the purpose of what it's doing? To show people its society? Okay, but then why is it transforming a fucking ship into its society? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because, like, they did a similar story with, like, the Inner Light, right? It's like a probe took over Picard specifically, but, like...
Yes.
It was trying to achieve something. It was like, we want to tell you the story of our people and how our people came to an end. Yeah. Actually,
the inspiration behind the episode was other episodes that they have done, and that was one of them. Another one that was inspiration for the episode was Darmok, because that was like the guy who wrote this episode also wrote Darmok, and so he was like, hey, what if we took this kind of concept and put it like across the entire ship? And I mean, obviously, he wrote something that's so like bizarre and esoteric that you don't get it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But also, he didn't bother to explore anything about it. Like you get to know a few of Dathon's what do you call it? Not similes. A few of his myths in that episode, because you're hearing him recite things and you don't understand what they are, and by the end of it you do understand a few of them, and like, it's not much, but it's a little bit of lore to kind of give you an impression of the way that these people see history. And Picard has comparisons to things like the Epic of Gilgamesh, and you start to compare his species to that and think of their myths in a very similar way. So you have something from like an Earth perspective to give you a kind of a, I guess, an impression of what they are. We don't get that with this species at all. We get nothing. We get two parts of their what do you call it? Of their mythology, which is the sun and the moon. You don't actually get to know the moon, or you kind of get to know the sun through other characters. You don't get to know what the purpose in any of those other characters are or what they are supposed to represent. They're just general mythological characters that all happen to be supporting characters of the main sun and the moon character. But like if you look at something like Greek mythology, which is a pantheon of a collection of gods, each of them is a god of something, or at least if they're not a god of something, then they are at least like a sub god of something. Even Hercules has like representation within, like he has a purpose in their culture that is not just like, oh, he's part of like the fucking soap opera of drama, but that's not the case with any of these other characters. They're just soap opera characters to support whatever the main god character is, and that's it. So, yeah, that's what frustrates me about the episode. However, I like seeing Brent Spiner act stupid, and so I find that very entertaining. And that's why I don't hate this episode. Yeah, that is all that it is for me. I like watching him act wacky. It's like he's pulling fucking random characters out of his Night Court appearances, and he's like, what's going to happen if I throw this into Star Trek?
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's all that I like about it.
Yeah, to be honest, like, I didn't even, like, I don't think Brent Spiner did a bad job or anything, but I also, like, just wasn't really interested in any of those characters, so I didn't
No, that's fair.
That's
fair. The episode doesn't give you a reason to be.
Yeah. Also, I think, I'll be honest, I don't think the characters Brent Spiner, like, does like that, or that they're just not for me.
That's fine. He came up with them on the spot.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, some of the shit he comes up with himself, I usually don't vibe with.
That's fine.
I'm like, my sense of humor is, like, not.
Yeah, he runs goofy comedy, is the way that he approaches stuff. So I get it.
It's a little. And I don't know what other word to use because, like, I'm not trying to be insulting, but it's a little too stupid for me. It's a little too dumb.
That's fair. That's fair. It's goofy.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about this episode that I found out when looking into the backstory of it, and it sucks because this is where I think the potential is. The original concept for the episode, which literally just a pitch, was what if we did Finding the Library of Alexandria. That was the pitch for this episode, and I can see where they kind of went for that. But they ended up leaning.
Cool concept, but
it is, and I think that they could have done something interesting with something like that. But that isn't what they did. They copied one of their other ideas, but did it worse than they previously had done.
Yeah, yeah. It just didn't come across.
No, and it's like I was saying earlier. The director didn't get it. This was not like a random director of TNG. This is a seasoned director who had done like 15 or 20 episodes. He had been there for quite a bit, and he had done some pretty substantial stuff on the series. And then he got to this and was just like, I don't know what to make of this script, but it's my turn, so I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I mean, that's fair. That's how it works in Star Trek. There are a couple of instances where they'll like switch a director, at the last minute, and it just kind of happens. That's what you got to do. It's a job.
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like I used to like this episode, or like I used to find it interesting, and then like I guess sitting down and like really paying attention to it, I'm just like you. I already figured out what the thing is. I already figured out the problem.
Yeah.
So like it's not interesting watching them try to figure it out.
I remember the episode being more substantial in its mythology than when I rewatched it,
Same.
but
I
yeah, it's not
the
at
memory
all.
the memory I have of this episode is like the back and forth between Data and Picard being a lot more significant.
Yes.
Like for some reason for some reason in my memory they had like multiple conversations where he was pretending to be like some other god or whatever.
Yeah.
But like no, it's just the one at the end, and Picard looks very silly in the silver mask.
Oh
I
God,
gotta
yeah.
say.
I fucking love
Yeah.
seeing him in that. He looks like a goofball.
Yeah.
So that said, these characters that Brent Spiner is playing, I think the script really does a disservice to them because in the cases where I can't remember the names of any of them because you barely hear it, but the really goofy trickster god one, that's the one who has the
Ehot,
most
I think.
substantially Ehot. He's the one who has the most substantially developed personality. And then you get to the father. And the father character literally just like when he comes I think he shows up like 2 or 3 times. When he comes back, he keeps repeating himself just to indicate, oh, by the way, it's this character again. Where he's doing the so hard to keep warm shit. And it's like, okay, yeah, you said that a minute ago. We got it.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't give the character a moment to like develop anything other than that. It's just that's his catchphrase, so he's going to say it. And it's the same with the character who's just terrified, who doesn't seem to actually have a point because they don't do anything. The one who's scared of everything, that they do the weird zoom
and
out
stares
shot
at the
of.
ceiling for 10 seconds.
Yeah. It's strange because like the episode clearly spent a lot of time just dilly-dallying. Like the episode ran under for sure. And I know because there's like effect shots that run too long. There's that weird shot that runs too long. There are weird cuts for a commercial that are meaningless. And like they could have filled this with better content. And it's just the writer didn't do a good job of doing that. And I guess they didn't flesh it out when it hit teleplay side. And that's just it. The episode's not great because of it. I still think it's fun, but only a little fun. And I don't think I would recommend watching this to a new person.
No, I didn't
definitely
care
not.
for this episode. Like, I think I've said this before on the podcast. I like the archaeology shit. Like, I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was a kid. And I still like a lot of that stuff. So, like, lore would have been, like, a lot, like, I would have been nice to hear more about the mythology of the civilization, because the only lore we really got was that like Misaka's a bitch.
Yeah.
No, the lore
That's
that we
it.
got
That's
is
the lore.
is that the sun and
She's-
the moon chase each
she
other,
sucks.
and the sun is a lot of people are scared of it, and that's it. That is the entirety of the lore.
Oh.
That's not a lot to get out of a 42-minute episode.
Yeah, and I could have saved them all by just saying the sun is a bitch.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Like there are species in Star Trek that show up for like one episode, and somehow they have gotten into. So there's a Star Trek MMO, Dory, and it's free to play now, and it is full of so much fucking grinding. It's a pain in the ass, but the storytelling is relatively fun. The space combat is fun, so it does a good job of making you feel like you're playing a Star Trek game at the very least. But there are species that show up in one episode of Star Trek, and they have made like entire fucking 10 to 15 hour campaigns about those species. You couldn't do that with this one because there's nothing to go on.
Yeah. This was like honestly such a slog to get through.
Yeah, I wrote less about this episode than basically any episode that I've done in a while.
Fair.
Anyway.
Fair. This just was like honestly kind of boring.
Can I mention one thing about the episode that I think is a really big problem, especially for scientists?
Sure.
Well, there's this constant fucking thing about, it's the moon or the sun and the moon are chasing each other, and the moon can't be out when the sun is out, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What
like,
planet
wrong.
is that true on?
Yeah. I think
That's not
what
true on
Troy-
Earth. That's not true anywhere.
I think what Troy said was that neither can be, like, only one can be in ascension at one time.
But no, the thing is that they're always chasing each other, and that
Yeah.
when one catches up to the other, then that means it's time for the other to go down for the night or the day. And Picard agrees with this.
Yeah.
Riker agrees with this. Geordi agrees with this. Everyone agrees with this, and I'm just like, that doesn't happen on Earth.
But,
Where does that
yeah,
happen?
No, it does, because, like, if you follow them, it's not like literally like sun click moon. It's like they're chasing each other through the sky. So one is always rising and one is always descending, and, like, they can't both rise at the same time.
Wait, but they can. They do. That happens.
Yeah, but not like like symbolically, man. Like, not literally.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like, when you're thinking about, like if you're thinking about it, like, because this isn't based on science, it's based on, like, symbolism and ritual, and, like, a lot of times, like, on Earth, like, cultures, like, symbolized, like the sun and the moon chasing each other, and, like,
Okay.
one was always behind the other, right? Even though that's not literally, like, in scientific reality, that's not what's happening, but, like, visually, if you're a species that, like, has not explored space and does not know that, what it looks like is that, like, the moon is, like, just going one after the sun, like a dial.
Kind of. I mean, the timing is off, but yeah, okay, fair enough. Now, I think, I don't know, I'm going to get hung up on this for a moment, and feel free to tell me that I'm full of shit. But there are the instance of the way that Star Trek in this particular case is treating this is extremely Earth-centric, because the concept of a moon that is partially hidden by the sun, because it eclipses like that, and also there's only a single moon, is actually exceedingly rare. Like, most planets have more than one moon, and most planets do not eclipse their own moon.
But they're not talking about an eclipse, though.
No, because the moon is symbolized by like a half crescent.
Yeah.
That's the moon being eclipsed by the Earth.
I know. But, like, I mean, I think that's not rare.
No, it is quite rare because of the way that the rotation of the moon of our moon around the sun, around the Earth, and the fact that it is like it goes perfectly around in the same kind of direction that the sun does, so that it eclipses the Earth eclipses it the way that it does. Most moons don't do that. They have their own, like, their own directions. Some of them are, like, just constantly lit by the same side and seen the exact same way all the time because of the way that they rotate around the planet that they're rotating around. The instance of the distance that Earth is from the moon, and the way that it's eclipsed by the Earth like monthly, is quite rare. I only found that out like a couple of years ago, and I was kind of blown away by it.
The regularity, yeah, but, like, I'm sure there's other moons that, like, because it's just like, oh, the planet is in between the sun and the moon, and it blocks the light a little bit. Like, I don't think that's that rare of a thing to happen.
It's not as common as you would think.
Yeah. I know the rarity is that, like, the fact that we get solar eclipses is insanely, like, coincidental.
Yes, that's true.
Because the fact that, like, I forget the exact numbers, but, like, the fact that the Earth is, like, that the sun is, like, whatever, like, 400 times the size of the moon, and the fact that the moon is exactly, like, 400 times like the distance away so that they're perfectly the same size in the sky is like an insane coincidence.
Yes.
But like I think like a lunar eclipse is like, I can't see it being like so rare that it wouldn't be like, that it would be unreasonable for this to happen in another culture.
So
Like, I think
apparently,
it probably happens enough.
apparently on in our solar system,
Mm-hmm.
our moon is the only one that creates a lunar eclipse.
Like
A lunar eclipse.
that the shadow. I feel like I've seen pictures of like Mars's moons like in shadow.
You can see a picture of a moon in shadow? Oh yeah, I guess you can.
Like partially in shadow. You know what I mean.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Anyway, I think we're getting way too hung up
Okay,
on
yeah,
this.
that's true.
Like,
So like I said, feel free to
don't-
stop me.
Listen, there are like an incomparable number of planets in our galaxy alone. Like, just fully. I remember I heard so like, I don't think it's unreasonable that like another civilization had a moon that was eclipsed, that had regular eclipses.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, so I heard an example once that like, just to like really comprehend how big our fucking galaxy is, if our solar system were the size of your hand, right? The galaxy, you would probably assume would be like way bigger, right? Like maybe the size of like a building, or like, you know, like a car or a building or something. No, if it was to scale, and our solar system were the size of our hand, the size of the galaxy would be the size of the North American continent.
God damn.
Yeah. So that is how incomprehensibly big the fucking galaxy is, and how many like stars there are, and how many planets are around those stars. So I think it's reasonable to say that like maybe there's a few other planets that have lunar eclipses.
Okay, fair.
Anyway, Moon Corner. Yeah, I do remember this episode being a lot more interesting, but like rewatching it, I'm like, this is giving me nothing.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Okay, with all those sidetracks, I think it's fair to move on to favorite moments and lines.
Oh, poor Dory.
I liked when Geordi in Data scene, when he was like connected him to the computer just to see what was going on, and Data's like, Geordi, what does it feel like when a person is losing his mind? And then Geordi says, Data, come on, you're scaring me now, what's going on? And then Data says, I do not know, I am different. Data says, well, you're gonna be all right, you're with me, okay? And the Data goes, okay. I like that.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
Maybe that's it. I do like when, I did think it was kind of funny. It's not like funny, but like when Picard called death the ultimate boundary. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. I like the aesthetic of this civilization. I kind of liked the symbols and the drawings and stuff.
I was almost just said like the aesthetic. I was like, Tommy Bahama? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like all they need is a fucking Hawaiian shirt and some like mojitos or something, and survive.
Yeah, I meant more like their like drawings and stuff. I like the symbols
Yeah.
of it.
It's very Mayan.
Yeah. I'm imagining that's where they got.
Oh
the
yeah, for
inspo
sure.
From.
I definitely agree with that.
Like Mayan, Aztec, that kind of like Central / South American.
Yeah,
vibe.
100%. I really like Brent Spiner's delivery when he asks, "What does it what does it feel like when a person is losing his mind?" And I think it's wasted in being in this episode. I think that a moment like that for Data would, like, I think like an existential story around Data that had that as like a climax of some point, I would really enjoy, because I think that Brent Spiner could really pull it off. It's just too bad it's in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want to add one more because I thought you might bring this up, Jeff. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to. But the other thing I like is when they're in when Picard and Riker are in the ready room and Picard's holding the statue, he's holding it like it's his
yes,
dick.
I remember that. That was very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that isn't that why Jonathan Frakes is like smirking
I don't
in that
know.
scene?
I do find it very funny that as soon as he walks into the ready room the first time, he immediately puts his hand down on some like random artifact that's there, and it's like, Riker, like, come on, like, what do you always have to lean on stuff for?
Yeah, I remember why, because I was trying to, because I have a memory of like a commentary track like making note of this, that it's like the way Picard is holding like the statue thing is like kind of phallic, and I'm like, was that, I feel like in my mind's eye, it's like, or my mind's ears, I guess, it's Patrick Stewart saying this, like Patrick Stewart doing commentary on the episode. But no, that's not what it is. I realized, I think it was SF Debris when he was reviewing this episode.
Yeah, that tracks.
He makes a comment.
Yeah.
He makes a joke about it. Alrighty, on to predictions for the next episode. So, Dory, the next episode is called Eye of the Beholder. And
oh boy.
This is a Deanna episode.
Yay!
I
should not be excited. I need to tone that down.
Deanna has to investigate a death on the ship, and at the same time dealing with the development of a new relationship.
Of course. Fuck. Jesus.
Yeah, so I guess, like, what do you think's up with the death, and who do you think the relationship's with? And, like, what kind of relationship?
Okay. So I'll give you the first answer that had popped into my head, which is, I don't know that I'm going with that right now, but my first thought is maybe she gets into a relationship, but they die, so she's investigating his death.
I see.
And then maybe there's something where, like, she thinks she's seeing his ghost. But that seems extremely unlikely. So, okay. Okay, she's solving. Okay. So her new relationship. Oh gosh. I have such like, I want her to be happy so badly, but like, no man is good enough for her. She deserves everything. No, I mean, I want whoever this is. Also, wow, real late in the game for like a love interest. Unless she wants to get back together with Riker, which I will allow. But I can't see that really happening. But I would absolutely be on board for that. But I do think that maybe with this death, that it's related, that like maybe this new boyfriend is related to the death. Like maybe he's like under suspicion. And so she's trying to prove his innocence. Oh, okay. And I would really hope that he is in fact innocent. And he's not a piece of shit, because that would be fucking insane that she's like trying to solve this to prove his innocence, and then it's like, haha, he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would suck, because then it's like another dick move for like to put on her.
Yeah.
Not 'cause, like she didn't do a dick move. It's just like she deserves better.
Yeah.
So I feel like that version is more likely of like her trying to solve a murder that her like maybe new boyfriend is like under like is a suspect of, and she's trying to prove his innocence.
That plot twist
Rather
is a
than
thing
her
I would
boyfriend
write, for sure.
is. I think like here's the thing. I've been watching a lot of like, this is just like a coincidence, but I've been watching some like mystery stuff lately. Like Netflix just put out the Seven Dials, an Agatha Christie adaptation.
Yeah.
And I fucking nailed like a chunk of it, and I was so proud of myself.
Nice.
And then we were watching another TV show where I, albeit accidentally, as a joke, was like, I think that the mole is this person, and then it was that person.
Oh, nice.
I didn't super mean it, but I nailed this because I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if that person is the mole and that person was the mole? And so maybe I'm just thinking of like in terms of like mystery crime brain right now. Ideally, I'd love it to be that like that she's trying to solve her boyfriend, like some guy's murder, and he's talking to her as a ghost. But that feels like really sad though too, because Deanna shouldn't have to go through that also.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going with she's trying to prove her new love interest didn't kill someone.
Didn't kill a guy. Who did kill the guy and why?
Me. Because no. I think a freak accident that makes it look like someone was murdered, but they weren't, or they have like maybe some like guests on the ship, and one of them is the murderer. Because like I can't stomach one of our bridge crew
O'Brien's
people.
gone.
Actually, it was O'Brien. O'Brien was the murderer.
Oh, he's off the ship at this point. Yeah.
I don't care. He did it from afar. You don't listen. You don't need to necessarily listen like arsenic over a long period of time.
It's another DS9 crossover episode just for O'Brien to be the killer.
Yeah. So the murderer is either freak accident, that's just like a bunch of crazy circumstances that led to this, or someone else in like this big group, because maybe this person who Troy is like into now is like part of this big group, and someone else in the big group did it.
Okay.
Over jealousy or money, or power. Those are the options.
So all the motivations.
Yes, all the classics we're going with.
Alrighty. We'll let you off the hook.
Thanks.
If you want to see if Dory's correct, watch along with us and join us for the next episode of Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.